Hey gang, Pastor Jerry here, Sin City Pastors, coming to you from Henderson, Nevada, in my office here, helping you to stay holy, hungry, and humble as a Christian. I just got through working out and had this on my mind for about an hour. So you know what, I'm going to go share, because normally if I have stuff on my mind, I think you're feeling it too and stuff. So, but if I'm sweaty, if I look sweaty, if I look kind of jacked up, then forgive me. All my life, I have, hey, Brittany Crawford, what's going on? I don't know who you are, but hey, what's going on? All my life, I have been very aggressive not aggressive mean, but just if I want something, I go get it. And I can't remember one time that I got something easily. And the Lord has always made me wait. Hey, Autumn. Has made me wait longer and longer, work harder and harder. And here's what I want to share with you guys tonight. Between the time, hey Miss Gloria, between the time that I got it, that I started it, and the time that I actually received it, may have been weeks, months, or even years, or even decades. And I went through a lot of toiling, a lot of disappointment, and the key word today is a lot of failure. And so, you know, if you've ever gone through failure, just type it in real quick and let me know what kind of failure that you've been in. But failure is not uncommon. Failure is not abnormal. Failure is not a sin. And we get so worked up as Christians that we feel like if we are following God's plan, we won't fail. Well, the fact remains that we are still carnal, we are still flesh, and many times we miss it. And that's Brittany Smallwood. Hey, Brittany, what's going on, girl? Good to see you. My gosh, I miss you. We love you so much. And so, as Christians, we're going to fail. Now, there's a difference between failing and sinning. The Bible says that when you know what to do and you don't do it, that's sin. But it never says that when you do what God's called you to do and you don't do it the right way, you don't do it in the certain amount of time that you think you should do it, it's sin. Hey, Tanya, tell Daniel hi for me. And so we have got to get out of the mindset because, okay, let's think about this. Adam failed. Noah failed to let everyone know to get into the ark. King David failed miserably. Bathsheba failed. Eli, the priest, failed. Joseph failed. Abraham failed. Isaac failed. Rebecca failed. I can go on and on and on and on and on and really begin to share with you guys that failing is not an issue of your sin. It's a issue of the fact that we're human. And sometimes we just miss it. And again, missing it, hey Greg, missing it and sinning are two different things. Now, sin does mean to miss the mark, but that's to miss the mark that God has called you to do and be as a Christian. When you fail, for instance, I failed in my marriage. I had a marriage before my current marriage. Does that mean that I can't ever get married again? I have failed. I felt like a failure as a parent sometimes because of how my kids act. Does that mean that I should never parent? Does that mean that I should stop parenting? I failed at being a husband sometimes. Does that mean that I should never, ever try to love my wife? I failed at making my wife happy sometimes. Does that mean that I should stop? Does that mean I should just give up? I failed as a pastor, not as a sin issue or taking money or having an affair or embezzlement, but I may not have read certain things I should have read, or I may not have done certain things as far as a leader in the church. As far as how to lead people or how to cast vision. I failed. Hey, Rebecca, but that does not mean that I should stop doing what God has called me to do. Failure does not mean that you should quit. It means that you should stop, back up, reevaluate, and ask God, how do I do it better? Because when you failed, all that means is that you're trying. And my God, don't quit trying. There's so many people who get worked up at the fact and get wrapped around the axle that if they fail, they are finished. No, you're not. Failing does not mean that you're finished. It just means that you're flesh. And flesh fails. Sometimes it fails when you're embarrassed. Sometimes it fails in a big way, a small way. But I tell you right now that if you try anything for God, you're going to fail eventually. You're going to fail sometimes. Babe Ruth had a ton of strikeouts. Willie Mays had a ton of strikeouts. But there are great baseball players and great home run hitters. Hey, Miss Janie. So let's kind of break that down and discuss it for a second. Hey, Miss Ada, because again, as Christians, we're not perfect. We aren't perfect. We're not impervious. We're not made of steel. And we look at Jesus as the author and finisher of our faith, yes. But he was perfect. And he lived a perfect life to give us an example of the fact of that he was tempted in all areas, the Bible says, but he didn't sin. We should likewise, we should likewise know that we can be tempted in every area, but not sin. Again, sin is not failure, and failure is not analogous or synonymous to sin. All failing means is that you missed an assignment. You missed out on something. It doesn't mean that you willfully or even accidentally went against God's will. Because there are things right now in my life I'm doing right now that I know that God's called me to do. But you know what? I trip up. I may tell someone something I shouldn't tell them, or I may not say something in the right way, or I may forget a meeting or something like that. It doesn't mean I'm in sin. It just means that I messed up. So many of us Christians don't ever try because we don't want to ever fail. And when you have that kind of mindset, you'll always stay where you are. I challenge you today, all of you guys who are hearing me and listening to me, don't stop trying. When you stop trying, that's true failure. Failure is falling and not getting up, and failure is never, ever trying. You give me a person that is a continual screw up, that's always trying, busting their butt, but keeps failing. I can work with that. But you give me somebody who doesn't want to try, who doesn't want to fail, who's afraid of failing, who is afraid of being embarrassed. Do you know how embarrassed I am every Sunday? Do you know how embarrassed I am every week when I pastor a church, when I get in front of people and I do goofy stuff? Do you know how many butts of jokes or the brunt of jokes I am because I choose continually to get out in front of a camera, to preach the gospel, to share my life with people, to be transparent? It's always a chance of failure. And you've got to also think about what is your win. Because when you think about why you do what you do, then you can determine if you failed or not. Meaning this: why are you a parent? Why are you a grandparent? Why are you a doctor? Why are you going on your second master's? Why are you working 12 hours a day? Why? When you figure out that why, and if it's according to the will that God has you right now, that'll let you know if you're a failure or not. And not that you're a failure, that you're going to go to hell, but hey, reevaluate what you're doing and make sure that God is telling you to do it. Because you know what? When you're in God's will and you're doing something, He'll give you the grace to keep doing it. When you are outside of God's will, you won't have grace to do it. It'll be arduous, it'll be painful, and you won't have that grace there. And so that's pretty much what I'm talking about today. Failure is not a sin. I want you guys to keep trying, keep pushing, keep going forward. Don't let anything. The Bible says that we can do all things, not through us, but through Christ that strengthens us. And when you have that mindset that whatever God has called you to do, whatever He wants you to do, whatever He's destined for you to do, you will do it, but only through His help, only through His grace, His power. And you can do it on your own, but that's when you fail. It's when you do it without God's grace. So anyway, that's it for today. If you like this video, please share it, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys again soon. Have a great weekend. If I don't talk to you again soon, until next week, I probably will though, because I have a lot to say. Have a great night. Look, God bless you guys. Bye-bye.